Well, the hardest thing is getting it out of the packaging. I'll come back in a minute once I can figure it out. Right, well, I sussed out how to get it out of the packaging, but first I had to ease the box by putting a knife down and stretching the case. That is tight, man. Very solid box that it's packed in. Might even be a wooden box. So, no danger of that getting crushed in transit. Let's see what we've got. Right, well, here's the SOOCOO, I think that's how you pronounce it, S100 Pro, which apparently has a Wi-Fi app. It has a GPS extension, which I guess must be this, which acts as a GPS logger. It's touchscreen. It's the lowest price touchscreen camera that I've come across so far, around the £100 mark in UK. It's also got voice activation and 4K, although I'm not sure if that's interpolated. Let's see what else you get here. You've got a user manual. I'll have a look through that and maybe I'll read it this time. You've also got wrist remote, which is sometimes as much as a £10 extra with some cameras. You've got the usual range of stick-on mounts and spare pads and a wire securing strop and standoffs over there, short ones, long ones, tripod mounts, male and female, standoffs, long, short. I see it's got an open back as well as the waterproof back, which is good to see. A bit of ventilation, allows a bit of sound in. You've got what is called a skeleton case with tripod mounts on it. Camera just clips in so that you can use it when you're not using it in a wet environment, and it has a backpack clip which clips onto a harness or rucksack strap or whatever when you are walking. Useful bit of kit. Lens cleaning cloth, handlebar mount, and if you don't know, the way you mount these things is you either put on a tripod mount and put the skeleton case on if you don't need it in waterproof case, or you use the standoffs and you just connect that between the mounts and the waterproof case. And you've got straps there that also go through these stick-on mounts. So I think that just about covers that. I'm going to get this out, slip in a card. Doesn't come with a card. Most of these 4K cameras do need at least a class 10, and if it's native 4K it will need a U3. But there's the camera, rubberized case and touchscreen, as I say. Very unusual, and obviously this company actually develops their own cameras. It's not a clone of anything as far as I can see. Right, let's get it on charge, put a card in, then I'll have a closer look at the camera and figure out how it operates, maybe read the manual this time. So watch this space, I'll be back soon. Right, well, this is the SOOCOO S100 Pro action camera. Now this is not only touchscreen, and it's the lowest price touchscreen camera that I've come across. It has a GPS extension which acts as a logger of some kind. I'll look into that. It's voice activated. It boasts 4K. I'm not sure if that's interpolated. And it's also gyrostabilised, so could well be extremely good value for money. So I've put in a class 10 SanDisk card. Goes in logo side towards the back. I'm going to put it on charge and then we can take a closer look. Oh, of course it's also got a Wi-Fi app. Right, so here's the SOOCOO S100 Pro action camera. Let's take a look. First thing to comment about, which is something I really like, is the case feels kind of rubberized. It's got this nice ridged feel to it and it feels very secure in your hands. It's a small point, but some of them do feel very slippy, especially when they're out of the case. So I like that. I like the colour as well, actually. Anyway, moving on. On the front you've got a 170-degree wide-angle lens. You've got the power button, which is also mode button, which changes modes. This end you've got the Wi-Fi on and off, and you've got the scrolling up and down buttons. Now note that the lower one turns audio recording on and off when you're making video, and it's very easy to press it accidentally, which I did when I was making my test videos. Also a little speaker there, so on playback mode you can actually hear the audio. Pretty quiet, but put it to your ear, you know it's working. On the back you've got a 2-inch screen. On the top here you've got the shutter release, which is also used to go through the modes, and you've got a little LED there which shows you when the Wi-Fi is connected. This end you've got an HDMI out, so if you've got a lead you could plug it into your TV and look at the movies or stills. You've got micro USB for charging and retrieving your files, and you've got the microcard slot, and they say takes up to 64 gig, and always good to use a class 10 of course. And in the base you've got the battery slot. I did find that the battery was very tight in there, and I got about an hour and a quarter battery life, and that'll probably improve. Turn it on, 2-second press of the power button. There you go, and the screen's illuminated. You can see I'm in 1080-60. That's showing exposure value. That's showing Wi-Fi is off. That shows I'm in video mode. That shows voice operation is on. That's how much recording time I've got. That's the date time. And that is one of the settings symbols. That shows battery state. That shows I've got a card in, and that shows audio on. So the basics: press the shutter release, you've got a red light flashing there, you've got a little blue light flashing there, and you're recording video, and there's a countdown there, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. There isn't a light on the front or the top or anywhere else to show you that it's recording, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, I've accidentally touched the screen. Let's get rid of that. And actually I accidentally stopped it recording, because of course it's touch screen. So that's something to watch out for. I'll do that again. Press the shutter. Start recording. Press the shutter again. Stop recording. Or alternatively, touch the screen. Recording. Touch the screen. Stop recording. Or alternatively, it does actually have voice control, so I've not had a huge amount of success with it, but it does work with stop video. Stop video. Well, forget that. It does work with shutdown anyway, but it didn't that time, fortunately. Okay, so if I want to take a still, swipe the screen that way or that way, and you see the symbols change to a stills camera. That shows average white balance, exposure value, film speed ISO, which I just use auto on everything, and capacity for 1900 odd stills. Press the shutter, you've taken a still. Swipe again, you're back into video mode. I'll just show you this too. While you're recording video, if you press the power button, you take a still whilst you're video recording. So stop video again.
Video stop.
So that's the basics of that. Operation of the buttons and so on. You've got some other menus here. Now this is the thing I found confusing. Pull it down, you've got the video menu, so you can change resolution, scroll through those. You can turn off loop recording, which is default, wide dynamic range, golf shot, which is actually slow motion, scroll it, exposure value, motion detect. You can change the angle of view on this from 170 to 140, 110. Sound on and off, or that's audio recording on and off. Flip the screen upside down, gyro on, which I will turn on, so it's gyro stabilized. Date stamp on or off. Burst photos, no, correction, time lapse record, which does work, produces a video. So that's the end of that. Close that menu with the little X. Tap the screen and the display information disappears. Tap it again, that comes back. Scroll it upwards. This is the thing I found confusing. And then you've got another setup menu. Change the date, time, auto power off, language, audio on or off, TV frequency, voice control on or off, metering, spot metering on or off, firmware version, recycle, erase all images, no. You've got 2 or 3 menus, but also you can access these by a short press of the power button. So I've gone through camera, playback. So there's Playback there, and you can actually scroll through your videos and play, which, well, actually all I'm taking there is, oh, I've accidentally come into that menu. Playback, you've actually scrolled it down while you're in Playback and you've got yet another menu. Scroll it up, you're in that setup menu. It did take me a while to get used to this, but you can scroll through your videos here, press again, power button, you're into that menu, shut that down. One thing to watch out for, you've got a little symbol there that shows that you're recording audio with video. If you press that, there's a red symbol goes there, you're actually turning off the audio, so you could end up with video without any sound. So that is something to really watch out for. It caught me out. If you give the up button a short press while you're in video mode, you can see you've got Wi-Fi. I've just turned on the Wi-Fi, and I'll come to the Wi-Fi app in a bit. You can see the yellow LED is flashing, which is telling you that it's searching for a Wi-Fi connection. Password for that initial install is 12345678. Press the Wi-Fi button again. You're out of Wi-Fi mode. I've made some test clips with the GPS logger. It's just a question of plugging the micro USB in. You'll see perhaps there's a little GPS symbol illuminated there, which has got a red off symbol against it. If I was outside with it now and it was facing upwards, once that's gone off, it means it's connected. And if you look in the manual, there's a link to the GPS video player and a link to the PDF file that tells you how the GPS logger works. You've got to put it in manually, the URL. It's not a barcode or anything that you can scan. Right, now that's just auto screen saved, which conveniently brings me to slide to unlock, which of course you can't actually use when it's in the waterproof case. And at times when it was doing it in the case, when I did my motorcycle clips, I had to actually turn it off and then turn it on again to re-awake the camera. And I can't see anywhere in the menu where I can turn auto lock off, but that might be my ineptitude. So as I say, a bit confusing to start with, how to get into the menus, although once you've set it up, easy enough to use. I think that just about covers it all. Playback does have sound, it's very quiet, there's a little speaker there, but you can hear whether it's worked or not. And sometimes the voice operation works, like if I go shut down. What do you know, it worked that time. So I think that covers that. Right, the wrist remote. In the manual it says to pair it, you press both buttons simultaneously for 5 seconds, lights flash, turn on the camera and it pairs. It says if it doesn't flash, it's already paired, so let's see. Turn the camera on. It's either that or it's got a duff battery. Okay, so let's see. Press video. Ah, it is paired. Good. So that's it. Did you see that? Started video. Press button. Stop video. People have asked me in the past, can you tell on the wrist remote whether it's recording or not? No, you can't, because it would take two-way communication between the camera and the wrist remote. So press the camera icon. I've taken a still. Press video again. I've started video. And press again, you've stopped it. Of course, this does come with a nice Velcro strap, so that if you're windsurfing or something, you can stick it on your wrist. Right, that's great. Right, the Wi-Fi app. I've already installed it, as I mentioned. Use a QR scanner and just scan the QR code. It installed without any problems. So, as you can see, I've screen locked again here. Press the up button. Can you see that? It's showing the Wi-Fi symbol there. Password for initial install is 12345678, and it's already in there. The yellow light's on flashing, showing that it's looking for Wi-Fi. I go into my Wi-Fi settings. SOOCOO connect, dead easy. Do I want to connect? Yes. Amongst the multitude of apps I've got here, there's SOOCOO. It connected and the yellow light on the camera's gone solid. It's a very simple app. You can change a few settings, a few basic settings. You can stop-start video. Video's become recording. You've got a light flashing there. You can stop it, change to stills mode. And it will take a still. There's a little beep there, photo success. And you can review your clips and download to your phone if you want to. And no, unfortunately SOOCOO has stopped. That might be my rubbish phone. I'm being a bit too quick for it. No, it hasn't stopped, it's still there. If you wanted to use it for FPV, that's first person view flying on a quadcopter or something, the lag is very little. And bear in mind I'm using a pretty cheap and rubbish phone here. This is a Motorola 2nd G. It's a real budget phone, but you do need phones with a quad-core processor for these kind of apps to work. And of course, to turn off the Wi-Fi thing, you can either just turn off the Wi-Fi, press the up button, or you can just come out of it on your phone and turn off the Wi-Fi. So back to normal there with that. Anyway, perhaps it's time for some clips. I say there's one in there with the GPS logger. The motorcycle clips I took with the solid back on, and the sound actually came through quite well. And as I say, as far as I know, there's no external mic available for it. The clips around town were taken with it not in the case. Audio is from the camera. It's MP4 format video and I'm at 1080/60. And I'll show you the setup I used for the GPS logger little test that I did. These GPS pucks need to be facing towards the sky. So you probably stick it onto a helmet. It's got a 3M sticky pad on it. Obviously you can't use it while it's in the waterproof case because you won't be able to plug it in. What I've done is use the skeleton case here, fitted it to a really cheap chest harness that I bought from Amazon. And I'm just going to put it on the shoulder strap like that, looking upwards. So that's how I did it. But if you were doing it for real, of course, you'd stick this on your ski helmet or cycling helmet, come to that. So I hope that's helpful. Let's take a look at the clips. This is at 1080/60 with the gyro on and the wide setting. Some nice detail here on the brickwork, and when you pan around there's some distance there to see the sharpness, and then we've got some nice detail here on the brickwork and the shop signs.
Your car, what a sight you are. Think I know somewhere we can park. After dark, system up with the top down. Got the city on lockdown. Drive by in the low ride, hand sign when we fly by. System up with the top down until tomorrow. UK style, UK. Drive by in the low ride. When we fly by, fly by, fly by, fly by. by. Yo, 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 throw your hands to the sky with a side to side. City on lockdown. Drive by in the low ride. Hands high when we fly by, fly by, fly by, fly by.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better. I didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. No, that was the last thing on my mind. You know that was the last thing on my mind.
Excellent. Right, well here's a dark pub test. It's dark as a dungeon in here. My local Wetherspoons.
My man, am I alright for 20 minutes? I'm just going to go and check the boat. Yeah, no worries.
Cheers, I'll park it round the back there. In fact, how about here, is that alright? You've got half the car park shut off. I keep my little sailing dinghy on the River Dart in Devon. Look how peaceful that is, a bit windy. That's the village of Stoke Gabriel, in case anyone's interested. Right, well, I mentioned the GPS logger. This is the GPS logger in use on my mountain bike ride that I mentioned earlier. I'm using it on Microsoft Windows 8.1. I'm not sure if it's available for Mac, but I don't know if you can see that. You've got Google Maps there, which I can switch to satellite. And you've got the video playing here. It's giving me latitude, longitude, speed. I'll show you a more interesting bit around the harbour. I'm not sure if you can actually download the track. I'll switch to a more interesting bit around the harbour, and you can see where I am here, coming around the harbour. I'll zoom in on the Google Maps. See if you can see that there. But it actually shows your route. And don't forget, when you use the GPS, it needs a minute or two to actually settle down and find the satellites. And it does need a good clear view of the sky. So I quite like this, and I don't know if you can see there. One thing actually, something this would be useful for is if you were using it as a dash cam, it would immediately give you a record of your speed, your position, and of course the camera view. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is a beta version of the player, and to download it you go to the link that's mentioned in the manual. You've got to put it in their manual, put it in your computer manually. And as I say, I don't know if it's actually available for Mac. Right, well, I think that covers that. Actually, I think it is 3D, because look, it's showing some altitude here. Oh, that's great. So if you wanted to use it for paragliding, it gives you a 3D track in Google Earth. Right, okay, that's about it, I think. That's enough of the GPS logger. So, thanks for watching. Hope you find this useful. And don't forget to subscribe.
Think I know somewhere we can park after dark. System up with the top down. Got the city on lock.